Hi everyone. I recently got this 17.3-inch portable monitor sent to me for review, and I thought I'd give a brief introduction to how it works and my opinions on it. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. So it's a 17.3-inch IPS display. The viewing angles are really quite good. It's a matte screen, which is nice because you don't have glossy reflections. And then also it has a wide variety of inputs. So it supports HDMI, mini DisplayPort, USB-C. It can also do power delivery to your laptop if you're connecting to a USB-C cable back to your laptop. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So the package arrived in perfect condition, no damage or anything like that. And you can see here the package for the actual monitor is a very simple box. So right when you open it, you can see the monitor with the folio case on top. We'll take a look at that in a minute. They include 3 cables, 2 USB-C cables, one for connecting the monitor to your laptop, one for connecting the power supply, and then also an HDMI cable. Here's the instruction booklet. I decided to flip through it on camera in case you wanted to read through it. It's a 4K video, so just pause it and read the text if you'd like. They include a USB-C power delivery charger. It's about 18 watts, which is more than powerful enough for the monitor, and it could probably trickle charge your laptop. Of course, you can use a more powerful charger, or you could just have your laptop supply power to the monitor, which is what I usually do. And so here we are taking a look at the actual display, and there's the folio case attached to it. So at first I was fumbling around trying to figure out how the folio case works, but then I took a quick look in the instruction manual, and it was really obvious how to position it. So there's the instruction manual, and basically there's those 2 segments at the end. You fold it up, and then it sits in that kind of cradle position. And it's a good position. It's very ergonomic. No complaints about the angle. And so on the left side of the display, as we're about to see, there's the buttons for power and menu, and a micro USB port for the old style USB OTG hubs. On the right hand side we have HDMI, mini DisplayPort, USB-C, and then power input for USB-C. The folio case attaches with magnets to the back of the screen, and it's really quite simple. So I already had a USB-C cable plugged into my laptop, so I just plugged it into the monitor for a quick test. The bottom port is the one for video. The top port is the one for power input if you want to provide power. In this case, my laptop is providing power to the monitor, and I'm just doing a quick test to see how the colors look and how the menus work and everything like that. So by default, the brightness level is set to, I think, about 10%, which is actually really dim. I mean, it's perfectly usable, but I'd recommend you probably want to, or I would think you probably want to bump it up to about 50% or 40%. So here's a quick look at the menus. It has your typical monitor functions. Brightness, I found about 40 to 50 was a more convenient brightness level. At 100, it's really quite bright, kind of uncomfortably bright. Contrast has a small effect, but it is noticeable, and around 40 or 50 is a good value. It looks like the eco settings are just a collection of presets. And then sharpness will let you slightly sharpen or slightly blur the image. ECM, I ended up not using it. Seems to just bump up the brightness and contrast. You can adjust the color temperature a little bit. After recording the video, I ended up bumping the blue up, I think 1 or 2%. Monitor seems to support HDR, but it looks kind of weird when you do it this way. And then also, of course, in Windows, you can enable HDR mode, and that will make it look correct. But I think this monitor isn't really ideal for HDR. Alright, so I've been using this monitor for a couple weeks now, and I thought I'd give my impressions on it. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. So it's a nice big monitor. It's 17.3 inches. The viewing angles are pretty good. As you can see, there's not a significant color shift as you look at it from an angle. The vertical angles are also good. It has a matte finish, which is nice, so that way you don't have a lot of reflections like on a glossy screen. It's not a touch screen, so there's no touch, but that's perfectly fine. I didn't want a touch screen. I thought I'd kind of point out a little bit of the actual hardware first. So I disconnect. So obviously here is the monitor. It's relatively thin and not too heavy. And basically, as we can see here, we have the power buttons over here, and then the menu buttons are here. And so actually on the back, they're labeled, which I didn't notice when I was recording the unboxing. One of the nice things I also didn't notice at first is there is a VESA mount, so you could put it on a an ARM if you want to use it in a non-portable application. And then again, here we have all of the inputs, which is really quite nice. What I don't see in a lot of portable monitors are a variety of inputs. So we obviously have USB-C, which I think most people would use. But there's also HDMI, which is more popular on older devices and maybe like gaming consoles. And then even a mini DisplayPort, which is really nice for laptops from maybe 5 or 10 years ago when that was popular. And yeah, overall, it's really quite nice. When I was doing the unboxing, I was kind of fumbling around with the case because I didn't realize exactly how it worked, but it's really quite easy. So it's this kind of big folio that folds in half. And there's magnets kind of on the back surface here and here, and it just kind of pops into place. And then all you do is you fold up the last small section. And that's really all there is to it, really easy. So basically, you cover it up like that. When you're ready to go, you just do that. Really easy, really convenient. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with it. There were a few things I noticed in the manual that I thought I'd point out. So for example, on the OSD menu page, they show that it has a black level adjustment, but on this monitor it doesn't actually seem to have that. And I would have kind of liked if it did, because I find that the mids are a little bit bright on this monitor, and it'd be nice if I could kind of adjust, like a gamma adjustment to bring the mids a little bit darker. Obviously, you can do that in software with the Windows display calibration tool. You can adjust the gamma values, but it'd be nice if there was a sort of analog way to do it without degrading the picture quality a little bit in the software calibration. One other thing I noticed was they show that the monitor supports FreeSync when it's in game mode, but with this monitor I don't think they have that particular feature, because even when it's in game mode, that functionality is not supported. So I think this particular manual is included with several monitors, and this particular one doesn't have that feature. They also showed in the manual it looks like probably a rotary encoder is how they were doing the menu navigation. Yeah, so right there, G, which they call a pulley button, which I'm assuming is kind of like a mouse wheel, whereas on this particular monitor, as we saw, there's just 4 or 5 push buttons, not a rotating wheel. So aside from those documentation concerns I had, overall it was pretty good. I'm kind of surprised by this little hole right here. It kind of reminds me of like a USB memory stick, where they have this like keychain hole. But good luck carrying this on your keychain, so I'm not really sure what that's for. All I can think of is maybe it's for like a security cable, like if you have it in a public environment or in a school, maybe you can run a wire through there to lock it in place. But that kind of defeats the purpose of a portable monitor, so I'm not really sure about that. I was also curious about the power consumption. So I have here a USB-C power meter. If you've seen my earlier videos, basically it's a really simple device that will tell you the voltage, current, and then do the math to tell you the power. So let's go ahead and try that. Alright, so here let me bring up the menus. You can kind of see here that I have the brightness at about 40, which is a comfortable level for indoor usage. And we're drawing about 4.2 watts, which is very reasonable for a 17-inch display. If I adjust the backlight, keep in mind that my camera is going to auto adjust the exposure so it won't look like it's doing much, but it is actually much brighter now. So at full brightness, we're looking at about 7.6 watts. And that is quite bright. I would say it's a little bit uncomfortable if you're indoor, but if you're near a window, maybe that would be an appropriate value. And here I have the brightness down at 0, which is really quite dim. It's perfectly usable, but it's relatively dim, and now we're down to about 2.8 watts of power consumption. So that could be really quite useful if you're running off of battery and powering the display off your laptop. It's not going to draw too much power, so that's pretty good. Alright, so that's my review of this monitor. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you know anybody that might benefit from this video, please share a link with them.